we've got Allison here with us today. Allison is one of my college track athletes. She runs the 400 meter sprint in Division I. And Allison actually came to me towards the end of her junior year of high school. And she's here today to kind of share a little bit more about her journey with Dunamis Accelerated Recovery and Performance. So Allison, thanks for joining me today. Why don't you just start off by just kind of sharing how you came to me, how we started with your injury, and then where that led from there.
Beginning of my junior year track season, I pulled my hamstring really badly, and I mean junior year is when you're supposed to start talking to coaches and everything, and I knew I wanted to run in college, but I got no good times that year, and that year I was still focused on running the 100 and the 200, and they're just not good times. So we found you at the end of my junior year, and I started with ARP, and we fixed my hamstring up, and because throughout my junior year season I've been going to physical therapy and everything to get it better so I could at least run, so we fixed that up with ARP, and then we just kept training and started working, and then going into my senior year we realized I should be running the 400, not the 100 and the 200, so we started training for that. And right before my senior year I ran a 400 at Rocky Mountain State Games, and I ran a 102, so not anything to talk about, but my first time. And then just training with you and everything, and then by the end of middle of my senior year season of track, I got a 57-1, which got coaches looking and talking, and ended up getting a full ride to University of Northern Colorado for track and field, and so it's just been going up from there.
So Allison, when you first came in your junior year of high school, tell me, like, you had been running that year, what events were you running, what was your initial injury, and then what all had you tried, and then still wasn't quite taking care of the issue. If you could explain that'd be really cool.
Yeah, so beginning of my junior year, I tore my hamstring really bad, and I was trying to run the 100 and the 200, and the injury just was really preventing that, so I started going to physical therapy, and I did a lot of that dry needling technique, and so that got me to where I was able to run, but not anywhere where I needed to be.
Because, like, what were your times? Because you were on the 100 and 200. What were your times compared to what you should have been able to run?
Embarrassing to say this on video. My 100 time went from in the 13s, which still isn't much to talk about, but I remember one meet where I ran a 14.2. I should be able to do that in junior high. So it was just incredibly bad and disheartening. So.
Okay, because you were still feeling that hamstring,
yeah,
and everything kept coming back, even though it was like you would leave, the pain would come back. So it really wasn't getting to the root cause.
Not at all.
So then you were referred to me, and then we got started. And do you remember how many sessions we did before you were able to run it really a true 100%?
Okay. We did the full 10 sessions of ARP, and then I was able to run with no pain, and you got me to where I realized that I could run full speed, and that was when no pain came.
Okay, wonderful. But then we did some evaluation, because you came to me for injury, but then as we started to look at you from a athletic standpoint, we did an evaluation, and what did we say then at that point?
And we ended up realizing that 100 and 200 probably weren't my events, and so we moved me up to the 400 and started training for that.
Okay, so you never ran a 400 in your life.
No.
And so you ran out for the first time ever, and your very first 400 was somewhere around a what?
A 102.
A 102. Okay, so we started with that, and your goal was to run in Division I college, though. Okay, so that's when we started training. Yes. And so just halfway through your senior season now, you went from a 102, and we dropped you down to, what was that?
57-1.
A 57-1, okay. And that was good enough to win the state championship?
Yes.
Okay.
And the 3A state championship that year.
Okay, so we went from that, and then you were looking, coaches got their attention, and then what ended up happening from that experience?
So I got some full ride offers from some NAIA schools. I got an offer from a Division II school, and then I finally chose University of Northern Colorado for Division I. So I reached my goal.
Good. All right, so we got your Division I full ride scholarship, which was what the goal was from the very beginning, going from injured and running super slow times to being able to compete at the Division I level. Once you got to school, they train a little bit differently. Not everything is always up to par. So just maybe talk about how we're able to maintain you every break. You come home on breaks, a couple things like that. So little bumps and bruises here and there we're able to maintain so you can continue throughout your freshman season.
Okay. I think one of the biggest things that helped me up at college to try to stay on top of where my training needed to be was doing a lot of the ISOs in my room by myself, just trying to work on my squats and my bent over crunches and everything. So I think that helped a lot. But then coming home, I felt like I needed to come home and see you a lot because it just wasn't the same training, and so I got shin splints, and so we arced and got rid of those, got totally rid of those, which I was very thankful for because those were killing me. I remember you came and you helped arc me before I ran, actually just over at the Air Force Academy. We loosened, and so just anything I could do just to stay maintained because the training at college is very different.
So after your experience now with ARP, training throughout high school, preparing for college, and now being in college, what might be a few pointers that you would give to other aspiring high school runners now that you have hindsight with all this experience?
I think one of the biggest things that I've learned from you about running and training for being a sprinter and a runner is that you don't have to run yourself into the ground to be a good runner. Training for the 400, a lot of coaches will make you run 500, 600s, repeats, and I've never done anything over a 375 on the treadmill with you. And just a lot of the weight training has been just so much more helpful than just going out to the track and just running a bunch of reps. So I think coming to you, I think that's one of the biggest tips I would probably give to somebody is to not deviate from your plan, because your plan really is so helpful, and you just know what, I don't know how to say this, what the body needs to do and how the body needs to move, and it's not just going out there and running 1,000 reps. So I think that's something I would say, because I think that's a really common misconception.
Well, maybe to kind of conclude this time, some other elements of the training that most people don't get to think about are more of the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual levels of training, because we want to make sure that we're treating the whole person, not just, hey, let's go throw on some weights in the weight room kind of mentality. So maybe to kind of conclude your experience, share maybe a few highlights of what this training has also done for you on the mental and the emotional and the spiritual side of things. I
think, honestly, I think this is the best thing that's ever happened to me, meeting you and coming here, because we would just have sessions where I would just come down and cry and just talk to you and just really realize that stress is in my way now. It's not, oh, I'm not working hard enough or I'm not pushing hard enough. It's, you're stressing out, you need to relax. And so I've been working on that a lot. And I just remember when my favorite time being down here was the summer before my senior year, and we were learning all this new stuff about me and trying to train me for the 400, and then one day just being on the treadmill and it just wasn't going well, and you're like, what's going on? And so we just started talking about it, and I just was just in your basement coming to God for 3 hours. So, and that's just helped me so much over my journey. And so I think that's probably the biggest part of this entire thing, is all my mental and spiritual, emotional, and then also with the mental, I really think it's helped me a lot, which is actually something I learned from ARP, not even just training, was doing, seeing yourself running in everything you do, trying to picture that, and I think that really helps. Before my races, I really like to do that, and I like to just envision it and picture it, and I think that helps a lot, which is another mental thing I learned here. So I think that's a huge part of my training, is my mental and my spiritual and emotional.
Awesome. Well, Allison, it's been a pleasure to be able to train you and to see your growth, and I look forward to a lot more races being won. So thanks for coming.
Mm-hmm.